Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Yes, I know it's been a bit since I posted a video like this. The last time I posted something like this was basically what I'm doing right now, but with a different franchise. Yes, if you've seen by the title, today I will be ranking the starter Pokemon of the Pokemon series. I know that I could be rating the entire Pokedex and stuff like that, but that would take way too long, and it might be something for the podcast. But I don't think that I would have enough time in my life to rank all like 1,000 Pokemon. So I will just be going through the starters. No, Pikachu is not on this list. I will only be going through grass, water, and fire types. I think that those are just the basic types, and I think that those are the most interesting ones to actually talk about. I will just be going a bit into depth with them unless you want to watch another 30-minute video like I did last time with the Five Nights at Freddy's one. It was a really good video, so I really recommend you guys go watch it. And hey, if you are new to this channel, then you should definitely hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, comment down below what your favorite starter is. And I just love to hear what your favorite starter is. And just subscribe because I will be doing a lot more content like this. And I talk about the entertainment industry in amazing ways like you've never heard of it before. So definitely go check that out. To start us off, we have the first generation. I will be going generation by generation, giving you a bit of what these Pokemon do. And in first place, we have Bulbasaur, the original grass-type starter Pokemon. One of my favorite Pokemon. He's just really cute, and I just really like him. He upgrades into, or evolves, into Venusaur. He's a really good starter. He has a Mega Evolution there, so I just think that he's a really good Pokemon. For me, he's an amazing pick. He's not quite the best, but I definitely put it in amazing, if not God tier. But I do think that there are other Pokemon that might be worthy of God tier. So I just want to keep it a bit level-headed. I will be editing the list as I go, but usually I try to keep them in the spot that they are because if not, it'll just get all jumbled up. And watching the video until the end will probably be what you guys want to do anyway. Next on the list, we have Charmander. Charmander goes into Charizard, which Charizard is one of the best evolutions of every game. You know, he has the X, Y Mega Evolutions. He has the Giga Evolutions, which I recently just learned about. But he has a lot of different things, and I just think that Charmander is an unbeaten Pokemon. He's just so good. I think that he is easily God tier, our first God tier Pokemon of all. And I just think that he's definitely the best starter in the whole first game. Or not even the first game, the whole first generation. I think that he is the best Pokemon just because he goes into Charizard. And one of my favorite Pokemons is Charizard. My favorite Pokemon is actually on this list, and I will go into it a bit later. But next, we have the Squirtle. Squirtle, for me, he's another pick that is just an amazing pick. He's not the best. He's not as good as Bulbasaur, and he's not as good as Charizard. Sorry to say it to all you Squirtle fans. But I really do like Squirtle, and I think that I just had to put him a bit behind Bulbasaur. He's good. He's amazing. I love the Pokemon. But, I do have to say that just having Charizard and Bulbasaur there, it's not a good look for Squirtle. So, Squirtle, you're going right behind Bulbasaur, but it's not even that bad. Next, we have the second generation Pokemon, the Johto region Pokemon. Honestly, again, some really good picks, but some that are just there. I forgot to say, what am I saying? I have to go all the way back now. We have God tier, we have amazing pick, we have good pick, it's kind of acceptable. Then we have valid, like it's a good enough pick, but it's not the best. Then we have just shit, and then we have the irrelevant pick, the Pokemon that I usually just reserve those for the newer Pokemon because I don't like them very much. But I do have some other ones that are just in there that nobody ever picks, and they're not bad, but just nobody picks them because they have such good options. The first three Pokemon, I think that that's just exactly where they're supposed to go. They're just amazing Pokemon. I wouldn't mind if people put them up in God tier because they're just so good. But now we have Chikorita, or I think that's what her name is. Obviously a grass type Pokemon by what you can see here, but not very interesting for me personally. I don't find her very interesting, so I just put her in the valid category, because if I go shit, then I feel bad because she's not as bad as some Pokemon. Well, she is not as bad as some Pokemon, but definitely my computer just keeps on doing random shit. She's not as bad as normal Pokemon, but it's just she's valid. And then we have Cyndaquil, a fire type Pokemon. I think that this Pokemon is actually very good. And I would put him under the great pick. He's not exactly amazing pick. I think that he's the best pick of his respective generation. But I don't think that we can put him equally as good as Bulbasaur and Squirtle. Personally, for me, Bulbasaur and Squirtle are just too good. We then have Totodile, or I think that that's how you pronounce it. I think that he's just right behind Cyndaquil. He's not bad. I think that it's a very good Pokemon, and it's a very good pick. It's just Cyndaquil. I usually tend to prefer fire types, except for this next generation. I just tend to prefer fire types, and it's just not as good as the Cyndaquil is just a bit better in like a few of the stats. Well, like they're really similar in stats, and it is super effective against the Cyndaquil. But I just think that the Cyndaquil might be a bit cuter, so I might be a bit biased towards that. Next, we have Trico. There's not really much I can say. Amazing pick, amazing starter. I really like him. I think I'm gonna put these other two Pokemon up in a god tier because they're just way too good, and I feel like I don't feel justice putting them in amazing tier with Trico. Trico's really good. Don't get me wrong. I really like him. I really like his Mega Evolution. He's just not as good as the original. Like honestly, you can't outdo the original. Next up, we have Torchic, another amazing starter. I think that Torchic, in my opinion, is better than this Trico. Obviously, all three of these have Mega Evolution. I'm sorry I didn't say this prior to it. I think that just this is one of the best types of generations, just because you have the double type. In the first generation, you have Bulbasaur, which is a double type. He's a grass and a poison, and then you have obviously Charizard is a fire and flying, but Squirtle doesn't really do much. He just like kind of just sits there. He's a water type. But in this generation, you have Trico, which I'm pretty sure he is a grass type. It might even be a bug type. I'm not really sure about that one. But then we have Torchic, which is a fire and a fighting type, which I think is one of the best, combinations. And Blaziken is just a really good Pokemon. So I have to put him in God tier with these other Pokemon. Yes, I know a lot of people might not like me putting him in God tier, but there is like a separate tier between these because it's just, you can't really compare it to the originals. But honestly, for me, I know I say that you can't really compare it to the originals, but for me, Mudkip, he just brings me a lot of nostalgia, and to me, he is the best Pokemon of all time because he is a water and a ground type. He is immune to electrical damage. So you have this Pokemon that is like not like electrical damage isn't very effective to something that should be super effective to a water type. That is super amazing, and I just really like it. I personally love Mudkip. Mudkip is my favorite. I understand that a lot of people don't really like him very much, but for me, he's just my favorite. He's the cutest. I can't really argue against him. We then have Turtwig, another amazing pick. I really like it, but, well, I say amazing pick to everything, but he might be valid. I think that, personally, for me, Turtwig is right behind Totodile, or maybe between Totodile and Cyndaquil. It's a really good Pokemon, and I just really like it. It's like a little turtle. I don't like its further evolutions, so that's going to bump it back a bit. But I personally do like the Turtwig as a starter. It's a very cute starter, and I just think that it's very good being a grass type. Next, we have Chimchar. If you don't pick Chimchar as your starter in this fourth region, then you are terribly mistaken. Chimchar is probably the best starter that you can have in this region, aside from Piplup, because Piplup does have a bit of, OPness to it. But I still think that Chimchar is just the best of this generation. I'm going to put him right above Trico. I don't think that he's God tier. I can't put him in God tier, but I understand if some people do put him. I think that he does the same thing that Torchic does, but not as good. Because I just love Blaziken so much, and Blaziken just brings so much more to me. Like the double kick and all these different types of moves that I just don't think that Chimchar has. Then we have Piplup, another amazing pick. It's a water type. He's really good. I don't like his further evolutions though, which is why I put him behind Trico. But this starter Pokemon, he's just cute and all around a good Pokemon. Water and Steel, really good Pokemon. I would really recommend it if you're starting and you're going to pick one of these three. I personally pick Chimchar every time, but Piplup is also a very good option. We then have Snivy, another mid Pokemon. It's good, but it could be better, so I'm gonna put him above Chikorita. A lot of people like him, but it's just a shitty version of Rayquaza when it like evolves. I don't like it very much, and like I understand some people that do like it, but for me, it's just not there. We then have Tepig, which is a fire type pig, which I personally didn't find him very interesting. This is going to be my first shitty Pokemon just because I didn't find him very interesting. His later evolutions are very uninteresting, unmotivated. I watched the whole series, didn't really like the parts where he showed up. That kind of just ruined him. So he's my first shitty Pokemon. And he's not really irrelevant, too, because like I just didn't like him very much. We next have Oshawott, a really good starter and the only starter in these, three. You could pick Snivy, he's valid, but personally for me, Oshawott is just right behind Turtwig. If not even might be a bit in front of Turtwig. It's just really cute, and I just really like, the water types. The water types are usually very good. You can't really go too wrong with a water type until we get to farther generations. But for now, Oshawott is just a really good starter, and I just really like him. Then we have Chespin. Like I know that you guys can see my reaction down there, but like down here, but like it's just no Chespin. Chespin was super uninteresting to me throughout the whole series and everything. That I just didn't really like him. I watched XYZ. I watched everything in Pokemon, and I just didn't really like Chespin. So I'm just gonna put him like right behind Chikorita. He's not as bad as Tepig. Tepig just sucks, but he still isn't a very good starter. Next, we have Fennekin, the fire type starter. It's valid. It might be, but yeah, it's better than Snivy. Fennekin is better than Snivy. I really like him, but it's just not as good as Froakie. I'd personally put Froakie probably above Chimchar because you have you have Greninja, which is a fighting type and a water type, a really good combination. And if you've seen the show, he kind of has this like weird mega evolution that is just crazy. And I really like Greninja, and I just think that he's a really goated, pick. But I can't really put him any higher because I feel like it'd be unfair to all the top god tier. If I put Froakie up with him, I could understand putting him up there, but for me, he's just not quite past that nostalgic point that I had with the original Pokemon. We then get into the new Pokemon. We then have Rowlet. Like we have this new generation, which is the Alolan generation, that I didn't really find very convincing. Personally, for me, it was like just a really mid-season. There's only one starter that you can actually pick in this, unless like you kind of like have a thing for water types here. But Rowlet is just like, he's better than Tepig. Tepig sucks. I have nothing good to say to Tepig, and his later evolutions are pretty cool, but it's just no, like he can't be higher than even Chespin there. Next we have Litten. Litten is a really good starter. I really like him. He looks like kind of like in one of the Madagascar movies, you have like this tiger that jumps through this like tiny hole. That's like kind of what it reminded me of. Just like the tiger going through the little hole like on fire. And so like it just reminded me of that. And personally, I'll put him behind Oshawott. It's better than Fennekin just because it looks a lot cooler, but I can't really put him any higher. Popplio, let's just throw him right there. I'm not even gonna go too far into it. Like just Popplio, just pop. Then we have the next few generation Pokemons that I didn't really see very much. I just lost interest after the Alolan generation. Now we have these new 3 Pokemon that I don't really know what their names are, but I'm going to try to just say them as best as possible. Next we have Grookey. Irrelevant to me. He's later generation, don't really like him. As you can see, there's probably going to be a lot of irrelevance right now. We then have Scorbunny. I guess I could put him. Oh no, because he's not really shit. Because but he's just really irrelevant to me, just because he came out in later generations. I'm sorry, this is just a very unfair list. But let's just put Sobel down there too. Really irrelevant. Don't really like him. I don't really like his design. But hey, let's just put them there because I didn't really play very much with them. They might grow on me if I did play a bit more with them. That sounds really weird to say on camera. But hey, let's just stay on topic and let's go into these next few Pokemon. You know, we have the next generation. Next, we have the most recent generation, the Paldean generation. Yes, I'm pretty sure this is like the first one where Ash isn't a part of it. I might be wrong. They might be releasing a new one. I don't really know. I like haven't caught up with it. I just know that Ash won his trophy finally and then he retired. And now we have a brand new series that I'm not really a fan of. But let's just go into these Pokemon. Next up, we have Quaxly. Again, irrelevant. Came out later generations. Looks a bit, you know, like fruity, like doing like this weird stuff with the hand. And like I never played with this Pokemon. Can't really rate it too much. Next, we have Sprigato. Again, another irrelevant Pokemon. Came out way too late for me. I'm not really into these like newer generations. They just the character design doesn't look as good as the originals. Personally, for me, I know that it might be oldie is a goodie, but it is true. You play any of the original Pokemon games and you're gonna have a blast. You play any of the new ones and it's just annoying because anytime that you go through a bush, you're gonna get fucking caught out by some random like fucking Rattata Pokemon. And I know I have a hate against Rattatas and against Pidgeys and against all of these like Bidoofs. Bidoofs are the worst. I know that they're not even on the list, but Bidoof, you go even under shit. You go in hell. You go so far down that you just suck. Like I don't like you. You know, you just mess with me. That's all you do. You know, I try to walk through a field and then you just stupid Bidoof just showing up. I know I'm editing this later, so like I might like just skip over that. It might be funny, so I'll just put like a photo of Bidoof just like going crazy there. But next we have Fuecoco, the final Pokemon, and it's the one that I wanted to end off on because it's a bit more of a positive note other than all the like Pokemons that I just slapped onto irrelevant. I haven't played any of the new games, so it might be that this Pokemon is shit. I just saw its character design and I really liked it. I thought it was very cute. And personally, it looks better than any of these three Pokemon that... Oh. It looks better than any of these three Pokemon that are down here. So I'm going to put him probably like here. Yeah, probably in front of Litten. Because it's just so cute. And I just think that it deserves that place. Not because it's a good Pokemon. It might be a shitty Pokemon. It's like a baby crocodile. But it looks cute. It looks cute. I liked it. I liked its character design. And so I just think that this is a good list. Some people might disagree with me. I personally don't disagree with me. I made the list. Hey. But hey, it is my opinion. And the ones that I put in irrelevant aren't that they're bad at Pokemon. It's just that I haven't really played the games because I played the Alolan game, Sun and Moon, and I didn't really like it very much. And so going into Sword and Shield, and now the newer one, which is I think Diamond and Pearl is the one that I'm currently playing, which is a really old, like it's an older one that got refurbished. But they're not that they're bad at Pokemon. It's just that I haven't really played with them very much. But yeah, as I said, you know, Bidoof, you suck. But thank you everyone. With all that being said, thank you everyone for watching this video. I know it was a bit of a weirder video. You know, I did go off on Bidoof a bit. And I know that like a lot of people haven't really seen Pokemon very much. And a lot of people might not be up to date with Pokemon. But I just wanted to talk a bit about my favorite Pokemon. And I thought that I could do it out of short content. And just in this YouTube space again, where I really just like being a individual creator. But hey, I think that like I just need to make a video where I talked about the Pokemon because in a short, none of these Pokemon would fit. I would just be going on a list and people would judge me for my opinions. But that's what's going to happen anyway. So hey, hit the like button. Comment down below what your favorite starter Pokemon is. And hey, if you want to make me an entire list of your favorite Pokemon like starters, I would love to like read it and probably like reply on saying either this list is really good or maybe this list is kind of mid. Like I don't really know, but hey, I would love to see it down below. If you are new to this channel, then please hit that subscribe button. I'm just trying to grow this channel as well as possible so I can reach as many of you as possible, and I know that we can do it all together. So thank you everyone for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.